Grameen Bank, you start with a hole and then move on to sanitary latrine. So every Grameen Bank family has a sanitary latrine, which has completely transformed the entire rural area because we are everywhere. Now that the poor women, they have their sanitary latrine, the well-off families who didn't have the toilets insisted that how come the poor woman, she has a toilet, we don't have toilet. So that became a pressure. They had to go around and find the toilets for them. It is enormously cruel on the part of the men to deny these toilets for the women because they have to wait until the sunset, no matter what the pressing need you have, because men can do it anytime, anywhere, but women had to wait for the darkness of the night. So you can imagine what a punishment it is on the women. So they feel so relieved. People, when I go to the villages, one of the things women come around me, hugging me for one reason, that I insisted on toilet and everybody has a toilet. You wouldn't believe how you have saved us from the torture of hell that we go through. So I never understood this part of life because I saw it as a kind of health intervention, that health needed it. I didn't understand how much it's meant to the women because of this. So and as I went around, I see each problem comes and I try to respond to that problem. And it became a habit with me. That response always comes as a business response. Whenever I see a problem, I come up with a business solution. And in the process, I created a number of companies, more than 50 companies I have created, and I keep on adding those companies. My number of companies, I don't have the last count because it keeps increasing. I became a serial company maker. So, and some of them got pretty big. One company that I made is on a telecommunication, Grameen Phone. It's a mobile phone company. And purpose of that business was to bring telecommunication in the villages. And we got the license, we created that company, but we insisted we'll give this telephone in the hands of the poor women in the villages. And we started calling them telephone ladies. Everybody thought it's a crazy idea. Why do you want to give telephone in the hands of poor women? Who is she going to call? I said, no, it's not the question of who she is going to call. The question is everybody who wants to make a call has to come to her because she is the only one who has a telephone in the village. And she became a very respected person because everybody has something to do with her and she knows everything that is happening in the village. You can't escape from her. So she became the central information bureau. She knew all the ins and outs, who is fighting with whom, who is conspiring against whom. She knows everything. I was asking one of those telephone ladies. Soon we have nearly 500,000 telephone ladies all over Bangladesh. So it became a very successful company, and this is the largest telephone company in the country. It has now, Bangladesh with 160 million people, we have about 72 million telephone subscribers. You can imagine what a penetration of that telephone is. I was just mentioning about one of the telephone ladies. I was asking her in the very early stages. I said, how do you feel about this telephone? How much money you're making? She didn't say anything about money. She said, you know what? No wedding ceremony takes place around all these villages around me without me getting invited into it. So that's the prestige it gave that telephone, that everybody has to invite her in the wedding, otherwise wedding is not complete. She's a number one person. So many companies. The people think that I have created so many companies, I must be a very rich man. I own so many companies. I said, look, I created companies, but I have no share in all these companies. I never intended to make money out of these companies. My purpose of the creation of the company is to solve the problem. Every company has a problem to solve, and that's how I did that. I created a solar energy company to bring solar energy into the villages of the Bangladesh. In the beginning, it's such an extremely difficult thing to bring, to persuade people to buy a solar home system to bring electricity at home. They thought it's too expensive, it's very unreliable. We don't know if the government-run electricity company doesn't work, what will happen to this one? Is it going to the same way? All kinds of suspicion, because for the first time we are talking about solar energy in a village. But we never gave up. It's so difficult to sell 3 or 4 solar home systems per month. 15 years later, today, we sell more than 1,000 solar home systems per day. Now we are about to reach 1 million solar home systems already sold. So it's flourishing like anything. Again, it's a business. We charge people fee, the price of this, and cover all the costs. But the purpose of the company is to make sure you bring electricity in the villages which never saw electricity in their lifetime, and probably in their lifetime they will never see the grid electricity. So this is off-grid electricity that we created, and people benefit from that. And one led to the other. There are so many things behind it. We got involved with other things like cooking stove, improved cooking stove. Because in the same technique, the way we sell the solar home system, we started selling the improved cooking stove. One of the major cause of death of women in Bangladesh is respiratory diseases. Where does it come from? From cooking. You're always in front of your stove, cooking meals for the whole family. And it's a fume, it's a little room, it's filled with smoke, and you're inhaling it all the time. And that's the cause of her death. Death is the end of it. But if you're alive, you suffer from your respiratory disease all your life. And it's a very difficult life when you have a respiratory disease. Anyway, so we are selling this and people are responding to it. We make it very simple, very easy. You just make a phone call, we come and install the stove right away. You can start cooking immediately, so you're not waiting time. It costs very little. So people are now buying it up, and we are selling thousands and thousands of improved cooking stove. The point I'm making that every one that I did is to solve a problem. So I see, why can't people understand that business can be done this way? The moment I try to explain, no, business has to make money. Where is the profit? You're not making profit. What can be business? The profit and business became synonymous. I said, that's a wrong idea. Business is not about profit. Profit is one part of business. It could be other ways of business. But that doesn't give you any clue in your textbooks, in your economic theory. It says, in economic theory, it says business is the mission of the business is the maximization of profit. So you should be maximizing profit, not compromising on the profit and so on. I said, yes, because they misinterpreted human beings. Human beings are not about just making money. Human beings are not created to become money chasers, all their life chasing money. And not only chasing money, it became such a habit-forming thing that it becomes an obsession of making money. And sometimes it becomes an addiction of making money. You don't know why you're making money, but you can't stop making money. You keep on making money. So I said, that's a misinterpretation, because human beings are not a single-dimensional being. Today, economic theory has put us in that role of single-dimensional human being, as a money chaser, as a money-making robots. I said, human being is much bigger than money-making. Money-making is a part of human being, maybe important part of human being, but not the whole of human being. So there are other parts of human being. And I distinguish it by saying, simplifying it, by saying we have selfishness in us. Economists took the selfishness of it and built the whole theory of economics, forgot other parts of us. The other part, we also have the selflessness. Every human being is also packed with the selflessness. This is part of our DNA. But our theory never allowed us to open that. Then the theoretician tell me, okay, why don't you, if you want to express your selflessness, why don't you step outside of business world and be a philanthropist? Give away money. I said, well, give away money is good. I'm not denying that. It's important. It serves the purpose. It solves the problem. But in charity, money goes, it doesn't come back. If I can transform it into a business, then money it does the job, money comes back. Then I can send it back again to do the same job again. And that same money works again and again, it never stops. And it becomes very powerful. Why can't we create a business like that? And that's the kind of business that I created along the way that I was describing. Money has to come back so that I'm not dependent on anybody. It is